and just leave it. And then I'll walk around, I'll work the room to assist.
Okay. All right.
It was good.
Do you have any more waters? Are those waters good or are those old waters?
Jenesia, 5 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, where should I?
Well, that's when so let's Harvard College. Let's just meet at let's meet there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you set up that video, Steve? Oh, that's it right there. Are you going to be over here?
For right now, if you can only see right there. It can see you.
So should I be like this? Or should I be like this?
Stephen Aaron. Class has started. Good afternoon. If you hear my voice, clap once. If you hear my voice, clap twice. All right, that's how we get attention in school, because school ends at 3, it's 3:30, but learning does not, so you're about to learn. I am Dr. Muhsinah Morris. I am the Director of Metaversive Programs at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also the founder and CEO of Metaverse United, where we help people find where they belong in the embodiment of the internet, called the Metaverse, which includes AI now, and immersive intelligence. I am joined here today to talk about Holotutor AI and how we have created a system for 24/7 personalized learning alongside Mr. Stephen Grubbs, the CEO of Victory XR, and Ms. Jenesia Welch, who is the technology manager of KIPP Atlanta Collegiate Schools. So we have created what we call purposeful partnership, working together to be able to build a pipeline through K-12 and higher education, and making sure that our students are ready for what the future looks like in education. So y'all ready to learn?
Yeah.
We're going to spend the first half of this talk just kind of going through some numbers, going through data, showing you the platform, and then if you have they were supposed to tell you all to bring your laptops. But if you didn't bring your laptops, don't worry, because we're going to create a quick lesson for you using the Holotutor platform. Okay? Here you go.
It went to sleep again.
It went to sleep. I should have turned my display off. Okay. So, you know there's many problems in education, correct?
Correct.
And we know that learning is something that doesn't stop just because the school bell rings. Learning is actually continuous. And students need to know that they are going to have to be lifelong learners. We know that technology has increased in the last 24 months far greater than it has in over 2 decades now, right? And so it's important that they know that learning is a continual process of growing and striving, and that there are tools available for them 24/7. There are students that are never going to ask questions in class. I've been teaching for 2 decades. How many people are educators in here? Okay, great. Like, you have that student who will sit there and you'll have them all year, they'll never ask a question, right? But that doesn't mean that they don't have questions. They're just shy, they may be, bashful, they don't want to ask a particular question, but having a 24/7 personalized tutor allows them the opportunity to always be able to ask the questions that they have And this particular platform actually connects the student to the platform. So, there's not a great deal of equity in education when it comes to access to tutoring programs. We know tutoring actually increases the chances of success for students. So Harvard did a study about AI tutors in a class called physics. Y'all know physics? It's the first hardest course in the world, discipline in the world. I am a biomolecular chemist, which means that I decided to embark on the second hardest subject in the world. And basically, what they saw was that students who used AI tutors in physics actually did twice as well as students who didn't. And so, with this platform that we have, which is more than just a chatbot, it's actually a conversational AI, we're trying to see how can we close these learning gaps and learning losses that may have happened during COVID, may have happened during elementary years, may have happened because you have a neurodivergent group of students. For whatever reason, can we close these learning losses that are existing for students in a way that actually reaches the student of today? That Gen Z, that Gen Alpha baby, right? And so many parents can't afford tutoring. And so this platform solves that problem. So the old model is teachers deliver all the knowledge and just stand on the stage, just kind of like how I'm doing right now and talking to you. And I'm the one singular point of information. But we all know that information is traveling alongside these young people every single day. They actually have the subject matter expert in their pockets, right? And so now we need a new model. We need a new type of infrastructure to also complement their learning structure every single day. So here's Holotutor AI. It is always on, it's always available, there's no office hours, there's no waiting time. Even with office hours, it's so extremely hard for me as a professor to get to 60 students who have the same question, but it allows you to ask those same questions that happened in the classroom that they weren't able to ask over and over again until they actually get the answer that they need to understand the content in a way that makes sense for them. It's personalized, it's subject specific, so you can go in and put in your parameters, your resources as an educator. You are driving the bus. It's built over the OpenAI large language model, but it is going to go through your resources first and pull out the best nuggets and gems, and you get to action script and edit and change it and make it what you want from your student. So the student isn't just floundering around on any platform like going to Khan Academy trying to figure out, oh God, well, how do I do this problem? It actually connects that student to the content in your classroom. So it's connecting them directly to your curriculum. And it's built on learning science, the way that your learning happens, the scaffolded learning that can happen in close gaps. Students that ask questions and then it's going to repersonalize it and then give them a transcript of the information that they have and they can always keep and that they can then take to their teachers. So it's built on this layered level of differentiation of instruction for different types of learners and everything like that. So we know that this works for our students. At least we've seen high levels of engagement. What are we doing at Morehouse with Holotutor AI? We're building capacity. We're building capacity for our teachers. We're building capacity for our tutors because we burn out our high-performing students. And so this enables our students to have just-in-time learning. They can master things at their own pace, and they're always continuously engaged. And I've developed this framework, and I feel like this framework really describes what Holotutor AI does. It's called the Always Learning Framework. And so Always is an acronym. I love a good acronym. You know, education loves a good acronym. So the A is always on, so it's that 24/7 accessibility. Learner-specific intelligence, so it's adaptive and personable. It's scalable, so it's equitable by design. It doesn't matter as long as you have a Chrome browser, you have access to it. Workflow integration is seamlessly embeds into the workflow of students and connects the student directly to the content in their classroom and not just the disciplines, specifically. And then yielding metacognition. Students learn what their strengths and their weaknesses are by asking the kind of questions they ask, and they learn how to ask better questions as time passes. And then augmented pedagogy, which AI is actually the extension of the teacher and not a replacement of the teacher. And I did that out of order, but you got it. So, always on, learner specific intelligence, workflow integrated, augmented pedagogy doesn't replace teachers. So many people wanted to know, does it replace teachers? No. It gives teachers capacity. Teachers, how many teachers are burned out that you know of? How many teachers are like trying to leave the system? Okay, they need capacity. You wouldn't leave a mother in the room with 40 students or 40 children, but you will leave a teacher in there with 40 different types of learners for 8 hours a day. That doesn't make sense. So, metacognition, so it builds this capability. And have anybody ever heard of learned helplessness? You know, students don't, we used to always say, hey, go Google it. Well, now it's not go Google it, it's like go find the answer, go and research the answer on your own, and Holotutor allows them to be able to ask these questions over and over again that they have. And it also redirects them so that if they go off the rails, so it redirects them. And then it's equitable. So this is kind of like a learning engagement loop architecture that really explains what Holotutor does. The learner engages, the data is informed by the questions that they ask, the AI adapts to the learner, and then the system improves and it continues on in a continuous loop over and over again until it is actually cultivated towards the student. So, Morehouse decided to do a study. And so we have the IRB-approved study designed to work with KIPP Atlanta Collegiate schools for 900 of their learners and for our tutoring center to see how Holotutor AI actually increases the outcomes for learning. And so far we see increased engagement, students persisting longer on platforms, and they're using AI as a cognitive partner and not as a replacement for information.
So we'll talk about what Holotutor looks like at the district level. I'm the manager of technology at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate High School. And so what we did was we did a pilot study to see how effective Holotutor was. This is a span over 30 days, so we just kind of wanted to see if we could buy into this program to then launch it to the rest of our school. So we did 2 pilots. It was a student-directed approach and then a teacher-directed approach. The scholars took the lead in navigating the experience with whatever assistance they needed through this platform. And then we had one of our physics teachers integrated into one of their projects that she was instructing during class. At KAC, KIPP Metro Atlanta Schools, we are big on equity. So into looking into Holotutor and being introduced to Holotutor, we felt like this could even the playing field with our scholars. They would be able to get additional help. It also increased the knowledge retention and embrace responsible AI use, right? Because we are trying to misdirect them from academic dishonesty. So we want them to be able to use AI responsibly. So the teacher-driven implementation in one of our physics class, this is an advanced placement physics class. I polled the scholars to see which class they were having the most difficulty with, and this was the class. So we implemented Holotutor in our physics class. The teacher presented the new platform, introduced them. I assisted the teacher with logins, credentials, making sure that the scholars were able to access the site. The project was built on sound versus noise. So they were able to use Holotutor to inform them on the project. They picked a song and they had to prove whether it was sound versus noise. We implemented it with the songs. They were able to dissect the song through Holotutor and then really deepen their understanding of what sound is versus what noise is, and enriching the quality of their presentations. We are very Google-based, so they were used to using Google Slides. This was something a little different for them to use. They were able to present their project through Holotutor. The teacher was able to conduct project checks. They received actionable feedback, and then they were able to edit it and perfect it. This is our instructor. This is my teammate, Ms. Evans. She was super critical and in this whole entire thing. We wouldn't have been able to do this teacher-driven pilot without Ms. Evans. She's a physics and a chemistry teacher. And this is one thing that she said she loves about Holotutor, that it served as an innovative resource for our scholars. It enhanced their student creativity, enhanced engagement, and their learning outcomes. But the most important thing for Holotutor and for it to be effective within the schools is that the institution must be ready for innovation. And I feel like that really hit home, because a lot of the times as a techie, we're pushing these things that we think are cool and that would be impactful, but leadership may not be ready, the institution may not be ready. And so I think the most important thing is that we have the buy-in from our leadership. Here are my scholars, my pilot babies. We also, in addition to the teacher-driven, we did a student-driven implementation. These are some of our high flyers. We like to call them high flyers. They're in dual enrollment. They take advanced placement classes. And they also share what problems and issues they were having in their classes. So Keisha was having issues with her AP US History class. And you can't see it on here, but I pretty much created a scholar profile so you understood the scholar. Dakota used it for 2 classes. She used it for AP Language and Physics. And then Caleb also used it for AP US History and AP Language. And what they loved mostly was that it was honestly better than ChatGPT. They felt like ChatGPT gave them the information and gave them the answer, but they didn't quite really understand it. And so they actually liked Holotutor because it explained the concepts so that they could arrive at their own answers. Dakota loved the depth and quality of the information. She's also a visual learner, right? And so Holotutor, you have an avatar, they're showing charts and graphs. That's what she mostly liked for physics. And Caleb loved the audio feature. He felt like audio learning really connected the dots for him. And he also realized that ChatGPT doesn't give you the correct answer at times. Knowing this, I'd rather have something that I can verify with and create my own answer that isn't considered plagiarism. And so these are my student-driven implementation babies. They were able to try Holotutor out on their own for whatever they needed for 30 days, and it really made an impact in their classes. I want to share some scholar data points with you. We did this once again over 30 days, and 54.5% of our scholars believe that their study efficiency did improve. So in addition to using ChatGPT or Claude, they really favored Holotutor for school. 63.6% of the scholars use Holotutor to understand the concepts better and to assist with their homework. So Holotutor has a really cool feature where they're able to make study guides, they're able to make flashcards, and this was the top 2 things that our students loved about Holotutor, was that it helped them with their homework. They were able to say, hey, I'm studying Unit 4 on the Civil War, can you help me understand what happened? And they were able to derive their own flashcards from there.
Oh, you got it? Okay, you
Yeah.
can drive. I didn't know you could still drive. I had touched
It's cool.
Okay.
Most of our scholars, 72.7% of our scholars used it every day. 2+ or more classes, they were using Holotutor. They were using it in school. They were using it for their dual enrollment classes at Georgia State University. So it really made a great difference. 81.8% of our scholars thinks it allowed them to think through the problems rather than copy the answers. So our scholars at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate really understand what academic dishonesty looks like, and so they are steering away and trying to use AI responsibly, and Holotutor allows them to do so. Just perspective, over the 30 days, this is the reason why I do the work that I do. These are 3 of my tech interns who graduated last year. And we just want to make them college ready, right? They have to be able to study on their own, be independent, and use the resources that are out there. Holotutor has proven to be powerful and purposeful in addition to our scholars' learning experience. More importantly, it has modeled what it looks like to use AI responsibly, equipping our scholars not just for the classroom, KC classroom and beyond, but the world ahead. Tech is moving super fast, and so we want to be able to prepare our scholars to be ready, and Holotutor has done just that for them. And now we'll go to Victory XR, the immersive learning infrastructure.
So Steve, do you want to do another follow
Whatever you want to do.
There's your mic.
Thank you, Jenesia. I think Muhsinah is going to actually go to Holotutor.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about a couple of really important pieces. One is how in this age of AI do we preserve the productive struggle of learning, right? That, some of you who are closer to my age might remember the movie Idiocracy. And it proposes this idea that we reach peak intelligence and then people just get dumber over time. And some people have suggested that AI will lead us to that moment because it takes away that moment of productive struggle where you're just tired. You've been working your homework or trying to figure out, I was a finance major. Those were hard classes for me. But by the end of the night, my brain was just tired. But it's like any other muscle, you built it up. And so we don't want AI to give the answers away. We want it to actually help students learn. And so I think what Dr. Morris is doing right now is building a lesson. And so here's the key. If you have teachers that have lesson plans or PowerPoints that they teach a lesson with, all you have to do is take that PowerPoint slide, attach it, and Holotutor will automatically build a lesson from it. So let's say that you've got 40 lessons in a semester. You attach all 40, you have 40 lessons in a course. You can, and those can be used in a number of ways. If a student misses class, it can be assigned to them. If they just didn't get it, they're afraid to raise their hand, they can go back later, they can watch the lesson, and then they can have a two-way conversation with their teacher teaching the same material, but in this case it's an AI teacher, it's Holotutor. And then, if you think in terms of students who maybe want to move faster, but we can't let them move faster because we just can't teach that many students at their own pace. Well, Holotutor allows you to do that. Once you've built the entire course, then each student gets to move at their own pace to the extent that the classroom allows. A lot of you may have heard of Alpha School in Austin, Texas. Alpha School, in many ways, is a great success. It has tuition of $40,000 per year, so that's a bit of a deterrent for most of us. But what they do is they have a platform that allows students to learn with an AI instructor for 2 hours a day, and then for 5 hours a day they have experiential learning. Pretty good combination. Holotutor is the alpha AI platform for the rest of us. People who don't have public school. My father was a public school teacher. Our schools never had a lot of excess money, so there needs to be a platform that gives that same opportunity without the costs. And so I'm not quite sure what you put in there, but in 2 to 5 minutes, this will create an entire lesson. And what you're going to see is a series of text blocks that the avatar will speak, whiteboard text, check-in questions. And our philosophy is about every 2 to 3 minutes, there should be a check-in question. That keeps the student focused on the lesson, and it gives us the opportunity to find out if they're understanding what they're learning. And once they learn, if they miss the question, then it allows us to go back and explain to them what they should know. So this is now asking a few extra questions of Dr. Morris. And you can answer those. I don't know if you can skip them or not, but it asks you questions to help tailor the lesson. So for example, you might be wanting to teach a course to juniors in college, or you might be wanting to teach this lesson to third graders. It adapts to every age level that you want. So it's built the lesson now, and now it's going to launch the 3D studio. So here's what you see. There's the speech that will be spoken by the avatar teacher. You see the whiteboard text. At the bottom, you see things that you can add in addition. You could add a video, or you could add a 3D object. By next week, we will launch math demonstratives, where you can add math charts and graphs so that it can teach algebra and division and multiplication, all of those things. So now, you can choose your avatar, you can choose your voice, you can even direct the personality of your teacher. If you think about your favorite teachers, I liked the ones that were a little witty. So you create the personality, and then you tell it just to go. So here it's going to ask some questions, grade level, and whether it's going to be a public lesson or within your school's private organization. So when Jenesia's team creates lessons, they probably save it in the KIPP Atlanta library, that they're only accessible to the students in the KIPP Atlanta school. But a lot of people create lessons and decide to share it with the whole world. And so they put those in the public library as well. You can also do student-based projects. So a student can choose to build a lesson about Harriet Tubman or Abraham Lincoln or Hank Aaron, whoever you want to teach and build that entire lesson around that historical figure or scientific figure. So I think Dr. Morris is going to click play. This is going to assemble the lesson. And so if you think about it, we now have a full 15 to 20 minute lesson here, built in 2 to 3 minutes. And you can't hear her, but she's saying what it said in the deal. And then it's going to put some information up on the whiteboard. It's going to have some check-in questions, and it's going to teach the student all the way through. So I know our time is short. I'm going to pause here. And by the way, if you want any of the data that we used a study from the Brookings Institute, one from Wharton just dropped, of course the Harvard study, and a couple of other studies. That's the framework that our curriculum specialists used as they built Holotutors. So it's science-backed, it works, it's interesting, and we are open to any questions. Probably Jenesia would be the one that's most interesting to talk to.
Hi, quick question, actually a couple of questions. One, it says many languages available. Is Haitian Creole one of them?
Which language?
Haitian Creole. That's the development question.
It's about 100 languages. I don't know if Haitian is one of them, but we can check.
Yeah, I'm contracted with Boston Public Schools, so that's my question. And another question I had is if you could share a little bit about the privacy of the data as compared to Gemini or ChatGPT.
None of the data is
So,
okay.
First of all, we comply with all FERPA and CAPA, and then New York just released a whole set of guidelines with AI as far as student privacy. Nothing that you see can be trained on student data, student responses. And so we comply with New York's very strict AI policy, in addition to federal law, FERPA and CAPA. And on our website, it has, we got a lot of policies on that website, but they're all on there, and we're happy to answer any questions about that you might have. I just texted my guy to see if Haitian is one of those languages, so we'll see if he answers. Creole. Creole. It's like New Orleans. Haitian Creole. Okay. All right. I'm guessing it probably is.
Swahili is there. So I would say it probably is because they added more.
And my curriculum specialist is, of course, correcting me. Haitian Creole is the official language of Haiti.
Right, that's why I said
Right.
Other questions? You had so many good ones. You took all the good ones. Now there are none left.
So I have comments. I am a professor. I created the world's first Metaversity at Morehouse College, where we made virtual reality the classroom for 2,500 students during the pandemic. Since then, we have integrated immersive intelligence into over 50 courses across disciplines, and this is the way that our students learn. No, it's not remote. We are still an in-person, on campus. It's a bring your tool to class kind of situation. They bring their headsets, they bring their laptops, and we have experiences that we do together. Victory XR and Steve Grubbs is responsible for the digital twin that Morehouse College actually has and that our students learn on. Holotutors superpowered our ability and capability to scale this amongst all of our students. And what is so wonderful about this is that so many educators had hesitations about how AI was being implemented and how this data was going to be used and who was going to be, what information was going to be hallucinating or not. And what Victory XR has done has built alongside the educator. So the reason why I push Holotutor AI so much is because it is not created without us at the helm. Literally, I tell Steve, no, that's not right. Isn't that right, Steve? No. No, but I tell him, like, you know, he listens to the educators because he understands we're boots on the ground, and that is so important because a lot of times people don't listen to the people who are there with the students all the time. And so it's really important to have a partner that is standing beside you, that is not just building the tech because they feel like it's cute. That they're building the tech that's going to actually reach the students because they have access to the students and they stay not one day, not 2 days, not drop off their product, but for a long time and build a relationship with you to build a ecosystem of tools that actually are relevant for our students. One of the things that we found, because Morehouse is an HBCU, historically black college and university, all black, all male, is our students were going into emerging technological spaces and there were no culturally appropriate, culturally relevant anything for them. And Victory XR was the only vendor, the only people that I found that helped me change that said, no, representation is important and you all deserve to be seen and heard. And so HBCUs then began to explore emerging technologies because they could actually see themselves in these spaces. And I think that is really important for majority of students. And we've done that also in South Dakota. South Dakota, they have a large tribal population and they wanted to make sure that they got those right. They worked with Victory XR, they worked with me, I trained their educators, and we got it right for those students. And that is what is most important because students want to know that you hear them, that you see them, that you value them, and that they are going to actually have a claim in this world. And when I look at my young people, I want them to know that when they look in the mirror, they are who they hope they will be. And with this technology and what we're doing at Morehouse College and across the globe with over 200 metaversities, with schools like KIPP Atlanta Collegiate, the KIPP schools all over, I've been working, screaming from the rafters, use this product because this is actually connecting students and they're not floundering on the internet trying to figure it out. They're not floundering because the teacher is in control and at the helm and it's created with the educator right there. So this is a great tool. The creator tool is free to use and I really hope that you all take the time to build the lessons and just try it and let your young people try it and let them become the creators of the spaces in the world that they actually want to inhabit. I think, I can't remember exactly. Don't give me the telling the truth. Don't give me the telling a mishap. But I remember that they wanted to do, I didn't work directly on that project, but I've facilitated it. Oh, really? And it was.
This step is that tribally controlled schools forget to include their tribal education directors in the process, so that we can at least go to our tribe and say, look at the stuff that's happening, and if they need further support, we're able to do that.
I can find out for you though.
So
I'm still in contact with you.
I would love to, because I'm taking a lot of step back to get our tribal education directors on board. Like, hey, what do you guys know about EdTech? Because I don't know anything, and our schools are playing around with AI, so our tribal organizations, we need to understand. And we have to be able to understand so we know what's going on and support our schools. And I'm going to say also support our tribes. Because just like governments, right, there's a lot of policy you guys have to follow. And I can tell you, most tribes don't have policy in place, and most tribes probably don't know if their schools are using this, especially if it's a tribally controlled school.
Well, this was South Dakota State, and it was a particular teacher who wanted to make sure that he preserved the artifact from the digital twin campus.
Yeah, and I am like, I just want us to be, I don't want our students, our native students in native country to be behind. I feel like we're always behind.
Exactly.
And I want us to be up.
Yeah.
But there's also certain things we have to be aware of and like let other people know, because our tribes can help in a lot of ways, but they can't help if they don't know.
Let me see, Dr. Rosemary Claremont, you are hired. You are already hired. You have been recruited and booted. I'll see you afterwards, because we're gonna get you settled, because that is necessary. We don't want to leave anybody behind in the conversation.
No, I'm sorry. I just came in giving this target. I want to know if there was a link that you gave to set up the. You said Holotutor.ai?
Holotutor.ai.
All right, thank you. And Dr. Morris is as amazing. I had the pleasure of going to Clark Atlanta University with this wonderful educator, so I co-sign and support everything. Her son is a member of our Coding with Culture cohort. This amazing thing. Definitely take advantage of it.
He was also a part of, he was actually a part of when Holotutor first came out.
I was one of the first.
We were scripting everything. So what you see now is a polished product now. It's more polished now, because, but before, literally, we were writing out all of this text and recording ourselves and transcribing it and putting it in and then doing all the things. Now it does it for us, and now we got to go in and just do a good little editing job.
But I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just have a question regarding on-site use in classes. So, like as an educational consultant, my motto is connection with content. So I love that it is able to differentiate. When you're on-site teaching classes, is it a mini lesson and then the students are off on their own so that they're working at their own level, or where's the student connection amongst the communication amongst the students?
So I've had teachers do it several different ways, where they will start a lesson obviously just in class, and then students will, because they're one-on-one with Chromebooks, a lot of schools, so then they'll go onto their Chromebook, log on, and the students get a mini lesson on Holotutor, and it depends on what the student, so say you have students that are at different levels, you can always say, you log on, and when you go to your organization, go to the red box or to the green box or to the whatever, just like how you group students, and they will go on to a lesson that is more tailored to the level that they're on, even though it's the same content. But students are then able to ask questions just free for all, like however they want to stop the lesson when they need to, that kind of thing, and then get a transcript of all of their interactions with the AI. And then you can also see on the back end there's an analytics part, which we're still building out, that'll show you how much time the student spent with the AI tutor and the questions. Well, it doesn't tell you exactly what the questions are, but the questions were asked or answered, that kind of thing. But teachers have used it in all different kinds of ways. I've had teachers that have just used it and just will display a lesson and then have students just one at a time come up as they're teaching them how to use it and how to have it and have ownership of it, and showing them how to ask proper questions for proper feedback. Yeah.
So Dr. Rosemary did have a great question. She asked, was there any articles or anything in Holotutor? And what I shared with her was that we actually paired with Victory, XR, and Morehouse College and KIPP Atlanta Collegiate through our virtual reality lab. I wound up collaborating with those two to implement it, and then we were brought on with Holotutor, which is an extension thereof. So even when we did presentations, I allowed our scholars to be able to see the presentations through the headsets, through the virtual reality headsets. But just be mindful that we did this in 30 days, and so we saw improvement. Our kids, what I learned, the behavior is they're used to the staff member saying, "Oh, why don't you look it up, Google it." Now our scholars are using Holotutor to do it in lieu of ChatGPT, in lieu of Claude, in lieu of Google. So they're using this as now their primary resource. As technology manager, we've had to navigate the AI, right? So ChatGPT is blocked on all of our devices on our student network. So they can't use it, but they can use Holotutor because Holotutor is being responsible with AI. And so that was one of our solutions. This is my scholars, they did AP Chemistry lab. They did a lab through the VR headsets. Once Victory XR saw the product and what we did, then they brought us on with Holotutor. And so this is a great solution also if you're blocking certain websites that are using AI and you notice that the behavior of your scholars, that they're always going to AI, use Holotutor in lieu of the Claudes, the ChatGPTs, because they are using AI responsibly. I know before we launched it, me and my tech team, we actually acted as if a scholar just to try to see what Holotutor was going to give us. They gave us the information, but they didn't give us the answer. So it is really pushing the scholar to think on their own, but also assisting them to get the knowledge that they need. And they're retaining the knowledge. I'm sure it's the platform, the avatar, the fact that they have a say on what their avatar can look like. They can change the clothes. More interactive, more engagement, and you're also using AI responsibly.
So I just asked it, can we talk about my favorite outfit? And it basically said, hey, scholar, let's keep it on, on track. Let's talk about physics, you know what I mean? So it'll redirect the student in a way. It's not going to totally dismiss them, but it also redirects them. So they're not just going to go into your physics lesson and start asking questions about, oh, my algebra test today. Or it even will say, I don't care about this. You know how students use language. I don't care. I don't know. This is boring, right? And even if the student responds just like that, then it will actually engage the student. So I get it, right? I put in text language, I don't care. I don't know. IDK, students are good for that. But it's but let's rev up the engines. How about exploring how colors are created by light? So it will redirect the mood of the student. So the student that is not even interested in learning at all is hey, all right, I see you, I hear you, I know, but let's do this. Let's try looking at it from this particular angle. And I think that's what's really unique about it.
I just had a comment. As a computer science teacher, I think just in the line of the electives, the CTE courses, the fine arts courses, having been in the classroom for 20 years, one of the things is that we get all the students, right? So we teach every kid K through 8, despite, which means all accommodations, all all the different learning, right, modifications that come in, all the different learning styles, let's say. And so what I'm thinking is that this would be golden as far as closing that equity gap, because the reality is usually the paraprofessionals, that's their only time, at least we're speaking in the elementary world, that's the only time they can have their break. So I can just imagine what this could do to, because again, I'm also managing behaviors, I don't, and a lot of times they don't have the modifications specific to computer science, or I would even do like a dance teacher or a PE teacher that was teaching health, because this would be able to kind of, well, maybe I'm open jumping, but I'm just amazed at what it can do. It looks like this would be a way to get those, provide some of those modifications in those classrooms where the support may not be there physically. So I think this is golden. Listen, I'm recommending to all my schools out there. We need to, projects is coming, we're gonna definitely have to work with this. This is amazing.
There's also a cool feature where you can tailor Holotutor according to the grade level. So before you even start, it will ask you, do you want me to be on a 3rd grade level, 4th grade level, middle school, high school, just so that it speaks the student's language, and it breaks it down according to the grade level.
And so this product, this platform is more than just what we showed you. We showed you the teacher creation tool, but students actually can go and ask the tutor anything, generate quizzes off of anything, upload their own assignments, worksheets, and create flashcards. Yeah, a chapter from the textbook. They also have a textbook assistant, so it's really, really thorough in terms of what it can add, what you can do with it. And like I said, from elementary all the way to graduate. All right, that's our time. I hope you had a great time. You can go to victoryxr.com and contact Steve at victoryxr.com. And me, Muhsinah Morris, I am at unitethemetaverse.com. And Jenesia Welch is on LinkedIn. Jenesia Welch, Welch at KIPPAtlanta.org.
Thank you.
Good job, y'all. Good job. I'm too late. I just retired. I did this 10 years ago. Good job. Okay. Thank you, sir.
I got one. I thought they should didn't actually pull. I was like, look, I grabbed the one. I just want somebody to pull my room. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I love your shoes.
Unless you're staying. No, I'm not.
Thank you.
love your great hair. Is it gray? Yeah. I didn't notice. Is that why they're giving me the wheelchair at the airport? Is that why they gave me a discount at Ross today? I'm just listen. Is it my
No, it's because you got all this beautiful.
But look how dark the back is.
I see, like my family's like that too.
My mother, dark brown always.
And can you pick that up?
I wish, because hers was white, like a beautiful white. I'm getting some right in here, some in here in my head, just so I didn't appreciate it, so I gave her a little tip. She said, you need some more. Now they're all gray. I mean, my older sister is the last one. And my mother had the most beautiful gray hair, but it was really like white. Thank you so much.
But thank you so much. I love when they react to questions.
She said, I know.